We're going to hopefully not interrupt your lunch in a negative way. Feel free to come and go. I've been asked to say this is not your food. I don't know what that means. Jan back there says that's your food. And I think all of you kind of figured that out. But an $8.2 billion budget went to is on Kate Brown's desk. Whether that's good or bad, we now know. What we don't know is the funding for Measure 98. And to help you understand what this means is that Measure 98 was passed by us this last election. The ballot measure said $800 per high school student would be allocated for purposes of reducing dropout rate, increasing graduation rate. It includes things like freshman failure rate attention. Oh, I'm going to give it to Jane Comer right here. What does that include? And swallow that that cinnamon roll piece that you just put in your mouth. Jane, tell us what 98 does.
So there's three parts, and I have to think about this. First of all is graduation rate. The second piece is, it's programs that need to prevent students from dropping out, therefore increasing the graduation rate. Second piece is programs that support college and career readiness. And the third piece are CTE programs. The caveat with 98 is that you have to make sure that these aren't programs that you already have. These are programs that you are either going to expand or introduce. So for those schools, for example, who already have AVID, you can expand your AVID program to include more classrooms or more teachers, but you can't say, oh, we've checked it off because we have AVID, so therefore we can get the money. It's not the way it works. You have to grow it. And you have to continue to grow it to continue to get the funding. And it's a substantial amount. I mean, even funded at half, it's still a lot of money.
So there's a significant career piece, and it may be funded at more or less $500 per high school student. So if you're working in a high school in a high tech and you want to grow your CTE program, your computer science program, engineering program, then you need to get with your administrator if you haven't already, because your district, your building, has created a plan for 98. Not knowing how much money is going to be allocated. Example, sure, yes, go ahead.
So it's district controlled.
It's district controlled, and there's no requirement that they talk to you. So you have to be proactive with them. And the challenge with Sherwood High School, for example, because I know that's where I teach, is that we already have a robust CTE program. We have computer science CTE, we have engineering CTE, we have woods CTE, we have metals manufacturing CTE programs. So where do we go from there? So it has to be new and expanded, and we're doing some of that by hiring an additional teacher. And Jane Comer is working on some of the other aspects of the three legs for that stool. And I say that to say, go talk to your administrator. You know, it's going to be up to you. If you haven't heard anything, that's not because things aren't happening. They're happening behind the door you can't get through, you haven't gone through yet. So go ahead and do that. All right, today, feature speaker, and he's bored. Similar to how he is in my class. He's sitting there twiddling his thumbs, looking at his phone. No. You are looking at your phone, I do see that. But that's where his notes are, because he's prepared a little talk for us. His dad, Brian, is right here, raise your hand. He lives in the neighborhood a couple miles from here and in the Sherwood School District, and Brian and I have been friends. And Brennan shows up in my class his freshman year with a plan. And he's going to go over that. And I'm not going to steal any of his thunder, except that I'm going to just tell you, you need to prepare yourself to be impressed. Brennan, you're on.
Awesome. Well, like he said, first of all, I'm Brennan Agranoff. I'm a senior at Sherwood High School now. I'm 17 years old, and like he said, I'm not Snapchatting. I got notes. So, I'm just going to talk you guys through a little bit of my story, my experience with career technical education, and how that's helped me, and really technology, how that's helped me overall. And so, I'm just going to start by going through sort of how I started. So currently, I'm the CEO and founder of my company, Hoopswagg. So what we do is we're a sock customization business. And so the short story is, you can hold this. So basically, we take white socks and then we customize them with any design you can imagine. So I have like 500 preset designs that I've all designed. And so we also do ones for teams and organizations. But so it all started like long before, so I founded Hoopswagg when I was 13, but it started when I was like 7 years old. So I was at our neighborhood garage sale, and there was these padlocks, and they were like $2, and as a 7-year-old, I thought things that were heavier cost more. So I was like, looked them up, I took my mom's phone or something, and then I went on eBay and sort of started trying to find these things on eBay. And what I found was that they were selling for $17 on eBay, and they were like $2 at the garage sale. So I was like, well, why is someone else getting paid $17 and I'm only have to pay $2? And so it kind of clicked, and I was like, wait, like I could go get the $17. So sort of with the help of my parents, helped guide me in the right direction, and I sort of went and learned how to use eBay. And what was amazing to me is looking back now, I mean, I had no idea, but at the time, I was a 7-year-old, like on my mom's phone doing like instant market research, like on site. And like, that's kind of incredible to me that we have the technology available to us these days that we're able to do that. Like 30 years ago, people would have called you insane if you told them you were gonna do that. So then sort of the next thing I phased into was when I was like 9 years old, like the Nintendo DS's were like the thing, like everybody had to have these things, and so they came with these styluses, but they were these tiny little like thin things and you lose them all the time. So all my friends didn't have styluses, so I went on eBay and I found the like sort of cheapest to most expensive, and I found these styluses for like $0.01 that you could buy from China. So the problem was that they took 3 months to get here. So what I would do is I'd go online and then I order like 300 of them because it's like $3, and so I was like, wow, I get 300 styluses, like that's cool. And so what I figured out is I could do is I could order screen protectors as well for $0.01, and I'd bundle those together with styluses and then sell them in the US because it would take me 3 months to get them. And that was sort of like the workaround that people didn't want to go through because it took 3 months. I could get them, package them up, and then sell them in like 4 days to you. And so people would pay me $5 for them. So I'm buying these things for 7 cents and selling them for $5. And my parents thought it was a little bit weird because every day we get like 100 like little black packages in the mail, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you talking to these people in China, buying things from them? Like, that's weird. You're 9. But no, it's incredible to me now, again, looking back, like I was talking to people overseas at age 9 and like doing business transactions with them. And then sort of from that, I used the same sort of business idea with phone cases. I would take phone cases and bundle them with screen protectors, and people would want them because it's like an all-in-one stop shop for them. It was easy. And so the big problem with that though is phone cases, there's all these different styles. So I would go on eBay and I would basically, on eBay, like on each product, they provide you with how many have sold in however many amount of days. And so I built an Excel spreadsheet basically that tracked the data and basically created graphs that I could see what was trending and what wasn't. And then from that, I could predict 3 months out, because it took me 3 months to get these things. I would predict 3 months out what would sell the best. Now, I wasn't always right. It was pretty iffy, but it was the idea behind it and like, analyzing that that allowed me to sort of build and build and build onto something that I had learned. So after that, I went to a Goodwill one day, and so around here we have like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, all these headquarters, right? And so what happens is all their like samples, the reps go and dump them at Goodwill's, and they sell them for like $4, and they retail for like $60. So I was lucky because we're in the Oregon area, and we have that around here. So I would basically annoy my parents until they drove me there, and then I'd go to the Goodwills, buy the things, and then I'd come home, and I would basically flip them on eBay. But the thing is that behind that, it's much more complicated. You can't just go sell something on eBay, which is sort of what I learned for all these other things, is that, so I had to build this Excel spreadsheet again that basically calculated the cost of PayPal, eBay, the shipping fees, like there's all these fees involved, and so I had to figure out how much I had to sell it for to make an actual decent amount of money that made it worth my time. So those are just a few of the things that I did. I had like tens of things that I tried, and just most of them ended up not working or didn't make too much money, so I just kept trying new things. But through all of them, I was learning these things that I would take one from the next and keep applying it over and over and over. And what that allowed me to do was, so by the time I was on my 6th or 7th like venture, I was getting more advanced and more advanced, and it slowly helped me to learn more and more. And so now I'm in like 7th grade, and I don't know if you guys know what Nike Elite socks are, but all the kids wear them. They've got like little blocks on the back. And so these were like the thing in 7th grade. They came out, and so all my friends had them. I had them. Like, this is all everybody wanted. Now, granted, it was $14 for a pair of socks, which is just insane. But I found these super colorful ones online, and they cost $40. So I, being my 7th grade self, saved up my money all summer and bought a pair of $40 socks. And again, my parents thought I was like a whack job, like they didn't know what was wrong with me. But so I bought a pair of these, and I wore them to school, wore them to basketball. Everybody loved them. They're like, where can I get these? Like, how did you make these? And I was like, oh, I didn't make them, I bought them. But I figured out that there was all this like some demand for it, like people wanted it. And so from there, I did about 6 months of research, whether that I did it through like internet forums, Yahoo Q&A. Like I met this old guy, this post office guy who like retired, and he was like my best friend on Yahoo Answers and answer all my post office questions. But I would do all these things like forums. I'd go talk to screen printers, YouTube. I mean, I was taking in every resource I could find online to just like soak in all this information. And what I learned from it is it took about 6 months, but I figured out the processes behind it and the equipment that I need, and I found a supplier. And once I found all that, it was sort of a matter of like proving that it could work. So once I figured out it could actually work, I have all this equipment, right, and all these socks, but I have nothing to put on the socks. So at that point, I had to teach myself graphic design. So I was an 8th grader, and basically my whole 8th grade year at home, I'd spend on YouTube, tutorial like blogs, just following through tutorials, trying to figure out how things work together. And what that allowed me to do is, whether or not I was actually making cool stuff, it allowed me to understand, like, I had a fundamental understanding of how these programs worked. And then from that, I was able to I'm an 8th grader, so I'm selling products to myself, essentially my friends, so I know what I want to wear. And then I was able to take that, maximize on that, and be able to make what I wanted. But I couldn't have been able to do that without those skills and understanding of it. And the other big thing was, I found something about it. I was really passionate about graphic design. Like that's what I liked most. I had done all this other stuff and it was great, but graphic design is something I really fell in love with. So then, as a freshman, I entered T's classes, and at that point, I had been on a pretty crappy website. Like it wasn't working well. It wasn't easy for customers. It wasn't easy for me. And so I realized I needed to change platforms. And so at that time, I was clueless. Like it was terrifying to change platforms. And so this is my current site. This is my current site now. So this is what I've changed over to. This is actually the same site I flipped over to as a freshman. But I wouldn't have, so when I started taking T's classes, I started taking these coding classes. I learned like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And whether or not I was super good at it, I had a fundamental understanding again of how it worked. So like if there was problems, I knew how to troubleshoot them. I knew who I needed to go to, who I needed to ask questions to. Like I had the skills, whether or not I personally could do it, I had the skills to reach out and get it fixed. And the other big thing was, when I first started, it was like really basic, and the simple skills that I had, it was enough that I was able to add customizations, whether that be to improve my like sell-through rate, your click-through rate, or all that good stuff, and it made it easier for customers too. So over the past like 3 or 4 years, I've just slowly grown my company, largely through social media, and again, that's something like I had to go try. When I first started, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I went out there, created my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter account, and started messing around with it. I'd go talk to people, see like what worked for them, talk to people online, YouTube, like everything. There's so many resources online that I've like used and have helped me along the way, and also just like screwing up. Like I've screwed up so much, and you just learn from it each time. So looking back now, 17, I consider myself still pretty young.
Yeah, you
Yeah, so looking back, I didn't realize this, but like I've been building like myself career skills like through all these different things. They're like employable job traits that I'd been learning since I was 7 years old. And I mean, I was lucky enough that my family's very technologically oriented. Like I just grown up in that type of family. So I've been lucky in that aspect. But I mean, I wasn't doing it to grow these job skills. I was doing it because I enjoyed what I was doing and I found it interesting. And then the biggest lesson through all this that I've learned was like, I learned how I learned. I learned that I can learn in certain ways more efficiently than others, whatever those ways may be. But by the time I had started entering TEAS classes, I knew like how I needed to intake the information to fully understand it and then be able to act upon it. And so the big thing that the classes at Sherwood really helped me with, the TEAS classes, was they put you in the right environment and then provided you with the right materials. So I take TEAS class like one class a day. In my other 4 classes, I'd go sit there, and granted, I was more interested in what was happening in my tech classes, but it wasn't engaging in me in my other classes. Like I didn't really get what was going on. Like I get good grades, like I passed tests, but I mean, I didn't care, and I wasn't engaged at all. Mostly because I didn't understand, like because regardless of how the kids learn, they're gonna teach the same way. Like it's just the reality of what I've been through, at least, is that like we'll take these personality tests at the beginning of every trimester. It'll be like your personality type A, B, C, or D. And I don't think that people fit into that. Like I think there's a much broader sense. So being able to give that environment of sort of freedom, of choice of what you're learning and how you learn it, really helped me to be successful because I was able to build something that worked for me. So recently I was able to attend a conference in New York. I basically got to go hang out with 500 of the smartest people I've ever met. It was entrepreneurial, so that was really cool. They had a whole bunch of cool guest speakers and stuff. But the most interesting thing to me is every person I talked to coded in one way or another. It wasn't, so for me when I first started my freshman year, I was like, oh, coders are like the people who sit in their mom's basement, right? Like coding websites, like they're geeks. But like soon after that I was like, oh no, we're all cool. So, yeah, we are, I mean. But anyways, yeah, so everyone there coded. Like it was incredible. Like that was the common thing between everyone. It didn't matter if they were like a lawyer, part of a law firm, they were making socks, I mean like everything. So I'm just gonna go through a few of my good friends that I met there and I still talk to every day now. So I have a good friend, his name's Evan Hara. He's actually on set producing his first TV show. He got it funded by MTV. He's in LA filming it right now. And it's stuff like that. So he uses coding every day he codes effects for his TV show. I don't completely understand it, but basically you code in effects in the video editing programs. And it's like really complex coding that I had no idea existed. Obviously, like I got that filming was technological and there was a lot of technology involved, but I would have never known that like a director for a movie needs to be able to code. Like I would have never guessed that. And then I have another good friend who actually came, he flew out from DC the other week to help, he flew out to TEAS class and interviewed like 150 kids. And so what his business is it's called Testify. And he came to interview 150 kids to help develop his own algorithm to basically help teachers better understand how their students learn. So it's sort of similar to what I'm talking about, but he would provide it as a service. And so he came to interview kids. It was a really complex survey. And basically what he does is at the beginning of like each class, his end goal would be he would have students take a quiz or play a game, and by that he'd be able to help identify how they best learn and then provide tips on that to the teachers to help them best maximize how they're teaching to their students. And what was interesting to me is he had not only like created this, but basically taught himself to code from YouTube, and then he'd taken that and created something that's going to help other people with it. And so that was really incredible to me. And then even in my own business, so I do a lot of work with like charities and organizations and stuff and teams. And so whenever I do this, I actually do like custom artwork for them with their logo and their colors. And so I have these preset designs, but I'd go in and it would take me 10 minutes for each one, and I have to do like 4 of these for each organization. So it's taking me sometimes an hour for each organization, right? And I was only doing 4 designs. So what I did is I basically was like, okay, there's gotta be something better here. So I was researching online, I figured out you can actually write code for graphic design. So, I mean, I didn't have the time, and I kind of realized that it wouldn't make sense for me to go learn it. But what I did is I went online and I found a freelancer who was able to do what I needed to get done. And it took like 2 months of development to develop this script, essentially. But what it does is it basically makes 40 designs in a matter of 5 minutes. That would have taken me like hours before. And I've used it hundreds and hundreds of times. I mean, it saved me thousands of hours. And it's just something like that, just realizing you have the capability to do something, whether or not you actually do it, just realizing that those opportunities are out there was pretty incredible to me. So, I mean, like I said, I grew up in a technologically savvy family. And so I was lucky enough that I was given these opportunities when I was at a younger age. But and I still take advantage of them like daily. I mean, like when I got to T's class, to be able to take advantage of that and have that offered to me was extremely important to my success. To be able to grow, and it's helped me like learn so much. But I honestly believe that there's a lot of other students out there, whether or not they have these opportunities offered, they don't necessarily know that they exist. And I think that a lot of us have like a fire inside of us that, like I know once I started learning, I couldn't stop learning, like it's addicting. And I think a lot of kids have it, whether or not they show it. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think a lot of kids would take advantage of it if they knew it existed. And I think sometimes that's not put out there as much, or it's not made available, because like I know a lot of people that they're like, oh, I didn't know you could do that, but they're interested and they just didn't know it was possible. And then speaking from a student's perspective to teachers, if there's like 2 things I could tell to all my teachers I wish, it would be, first of all, so I was lucky enough when I was younger, I learned how I learned, like the most efficient way through all these different things. I was able to understand that. But if you're able to help students understand for them personally how they learn, and it's not a category like A, B, C, or D, I don't think. I mean, everybody's on a different like level, on a different scale. It's not, you can't categorize people like that. If you're able to help students understand how they learn, even just a little bit, how much more efficient they could be in learning, I think that's super important. And then not only that, but being able to give them the right environment and tools and materials that they need to be successful with that is super important, because without that, that's great if you know how you learn, but if you don't have the right tools to act upon that, it doesn't do anything for you. So I think that's super important, and I think that's super important for me if I had to tell to all my teachers. So, I mean, yeah, thanks for having me, but I hope some of my stories and stuff has been super beneficial to you guys, and hopefully you guys can take something away from it.
He needs to take a deep breath. Did he breathe at all for these last 15 minutes? And have you ever heard a high school kid that could talk about academic things in a string like that? Yeah, they can talk about high school things, but you know, yeah, you can see I'm proud to have him in the class, but and extraordinary in one sense, but in another no, because what the opportunity we have as technology teachers is that we can provide that customized learning for the students. You know what an IEP is. That's for special ed, and if you put quotes around IEP, then it has a meeting that you go to at 3 o'clock and that you hope doesn't last till 4:30. If we take the quotes off of it, then it says individual education plan, and it can apply to all students. And so the message that Brennan brought, and I'd like to make sure we understand, is that we have the best curriculum opportunity in the universe to be able to do the IEP in a non-quote way. Other things that Brennan did not say, that he won the National High School Entrepreneur Contest at Baylor University about 3 months ago. So he won that one. Way to go. That smile has been plastered for months now because he is getting national attention. CNN put him on their front page of their website that was there for 3 or 4 days, and then it got relegated to the front page of their money section as this high school kid. And Brennan emailed me on Sunday night and says, T, do you remember, we got this film crew coming over. I think I mentioned it to you the other day, or yesterday, but you tell the story.
Your story. Tell the story.
Yeah, so, I mean, being 17 is great because people like to listen to you. But, so basically we like pitched this story for months and months, and our PR team came back and they're like, okay, no one wants it. And we're like, okay, cool. So then she comes back the next day. So I was like, okay, whatever, right? Like we tried. So she comes back the next day and she's like, hey, CNN wants an exclusive interview. So I was like, sweet, right? So, we did this interview. They told us, I mean, they didn't tell us much. We thought it would get hidden in the, hid away on the side page of the money section, right? So we wake up the next morning and we're like waiting for it to go live, and all of a sudden it shows up on the front page of CNN, and we're like, holy crap, wow.
That's a professional word, crap. It's just
very professional.
Italian design.
Yeah. So that happened, and then when I'm at a basketball game actually, it's like a Saturday night, and I get this call from K2, and they're like, "Hey, we want to do another interview." And so I was like, "Okay, whatever, right?" So they're like, I was like, "I'll meet you at my house in an hour." And so like, hurry home, shower, get ready, or whatever. And so they come and do this interview, and we're like, "Okay, cool." Like, it'll go on local news. Like, that's awesome. And what happened was it got sent out to the AP, which is Associated Press. And so that basically got sent to New York Times, Boston Globe, like I was on Daily Mail, like I got put in all these different publications. And so like we're watching the analytics come in from like the people, we can see who's on our site doing what and where they're coming from. And there's all these different news organizations that I've never even heard of. Like they're just coming in from everywhere. And so it was really exciting because I could sit there and because I usually have like 5 or 6 people on my site at a time, and now we've got like 400, 500 people just flowing into our site. But what happened is it just got picked up everywhere, and so, because it's like a feel-good story, the way they positioned it, and so it got picked up everywhere, and then after that, it sort of died down, but I keep getting these like incoming, more like media requests, and so like I've been doing podcasts, and like they actually flew a German TV crew out here essentially to film for, it's called Galileo, it's like this big documentary TV show in Germany, so they flew out here and we filmed for like the past 2 days, so that was pretty exciting. But I mean, no, it's been like an incredible experience. All the people I've got to meet through it, like I got to go to that conference, all those people, and it gives you some sort of sense of credibility, so more people will actually talk to you. But no, it's been an incredible experience, and I've been like really lucky to have gone through that, so yeah.
Good job.
What? Oh, okay, so my PR person. So in 8th grade, I don't know if you guys know Mr. Mantalis from Sherwood. He's my PE teacher. So we actually mapped out, like I was talking about the Goodwills before, we actually mapped out where all the reps would drop stuff off, like on certain days, like it was really creepy. But so we mapped that out. But anyways, it's his wife. Like just by chance, she's like, "Oh yeah, he mentioned it." He's like, "My wife does PR." And so I come back to her 3 years later and I'm like, "Hey, like, does your wife still do PR? Because we need a PR person." And so that was pretty random. But just random connections like that. We have 17 part-time people, and then my mom works full-time, like managing production for me. And all of our employees are, they just do production, essentially, like to actually make the socks. And my dad helps a little bit with like sales on the side while I'm at school. He's got to take like sales calls and stuff. But I mean, I also do like a lot of work with freelancers online, so I probably work with like 10 different freelancers, just project-based stuff. But like daily stuff with like 17 part-time people.
How old are your employees?
So I think I'm still the youngest one in my company. It's like half part-time moms. Well, so they like, their kids go to school during the morning, and it's like a cool gig. It's like 2-3 hours in the morning. They get to come hang out, talk to their mom friends about mom stuff, and so, yeah, I'm never there for mom stuff, but, so they talk about that, and then we run like, that's a morning shift. We usually run from like 8 or 9 to noonish, and then we take like an hour. So for summer, so for school, like during the school year, we'll run 8 till noon, and then usually after school, we have a group of high schoolers that comes in anywhere from like 3 to 6. And so it's about half and half moms and students.
What are your future plans? Are you in college?
Yeah, so my future plans, it's not very clear yet.
Take over the world?
Yeah, take over the world, the socks. But yeah, no, so I'm keeping all my doors open. I don't know where I'm headed. I'm graduating early from high school next year, that's my plan at least. And then I think I'm gonna take a gap year. I'm gonna run my business essentially full time because I've been in school for 6 hours a day ever since I started it. And so personally, I feel like if I put all my time and effort into it, it'll grow substantially. But I mean, college is definitely something I'm still looking at. I'm keeping all my doors open. Like I'm still applying for colleges because the reason I don't know like what's going to happen, and I don't know what. Like say I hate running my business, then I don't want to leave myself somewhere where I can't fall back on going to college or leave all my doors open essentially.
Okay. Brennan's going to be around. If you have to buy socks, there is a site for this. But yeah, it's an example of what we can do, and sometimes we sell our students short on their own capabilities, and I've learned that from Brennan. that I need to get my dream up as a teacher and apply that to all my students, and certainly those that are willing will be able to grab it and go. So, thank you all. And
Yeah.
I mean, truly, you weren't thinking, it would be great. You just blew it.
So much.